I'm Chris from MyMMAnews.com, being joined by Eric the White Walker Chase. He is getting ready for his first title bout of his amateur career, the welterweight title at Stellar Fights. It's going down in just a couple of days. First and foremost, I got to thank my guest for joining me in his home gym. Eric Chase, what's going on, brother? How are you?
How you doing, brother?
It's a pleasure. So, as I understand, you've been a busy man. Is it Captain Eric Chase now?
Captain Eric Chase, damn. Dude, my man did his research.
How long have you been at that, man? That's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations, first and foremost. Yeah. I know you've been working with the fire company. You've now been doing this and on top of training at 302. So tell me about this process of becoming a captain.
So I started right out of high school, or pretty much right out of high school. I did a semester at college, and it wasn't for me. And I got a job on the docks in Wilmington at the port. And I ended up making my way onto the boat after a couple weeks, and I started as a deckhand, worked my way up. They sent me to school after a couple years in Virginia and Norfolk. I got all my certs, and I've been on the boat ever since. Got my license, and we just worked up. After you get done your schooling, it goes up into the amount of days worked on the tugboat. So after you get like a certain amount of time, you get your next license, get your mates, and then I just have it's my 7th year working there now. So I just got my captains after the time.
So what are you able to do with that? Like you just mentioned tugboat. Now, are you able to take like people out on the, for cruises? What does that all entail?
So basically, I have a 200-ton Masters inland. So anywhere inland in United States waters, I can run any vessel up to 200 tons. And now I got my Masters of tow, so I can run any towing vessel as well. So any vessel that's 200 tons or less, I can run inland anywhere in the country.
Impressive. All getting ready for a title fight.
Yeah, that's
no pressure, right?
Nah, man, I take pressure. I take pressure very well, always have. So put it on me. I'll come out like a diamond. So.
Of course you do. And talking about coming out like a diamond, your last fight against Pete Matoshi at Stellar Fights, and it ended in a matter of seconds. That right head kick and unconscious. Now, when you walked away from that, one, I was in the cage to see the post-fight celebration. It seemed like you called that shot. You expected that shot, and you delivered. Was that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we drilled. We drilled a lot of things. We knew Pete liked to stand up, and I'll stand on the feet and bang. Wherever the fight goes, I'm ready. So he likes to strike, and I know he hits hard, and I think he had a knockout leading into that. But man, I like fuel to the fire. So we went in there with a couple techniques that we worked, and that was one of them. That right head kick was something we drilled, and after a couple exchanges, I saw when he threw his right cross, that hand dropped. So through a couple combinations, I kind of baited him with my jab, and he was countering my jab with the cross. So we threw that cross, and when he did, I just brought that leg up, and it was, I knew it was going to land. I knew something was going to land. I threw an overhand before that, and that caught him a little bit, wobbled him, but it wasn't too crazy. I was like, oh, well, that hand's down, so if my head kick lands where that hand landed, he's going to go to sleep. And, respect to Pete for showing up, but we all saw what happened. So.
Now, you're getting ready to set up for your title bout. And I'm getting a little distracted by my man, Earl Trouble Small, who's going to take over the camera right now. There he is. He's getting ready for a big matchup against Connor Dixon. It's going down this weekend. CFFC, Fury Grappling, Earl Small. But we're back to Eric Chase.
Eric Chase, first round sub.
Earl Small just called it Eric Chase first round sub. We're resorting back to my man Eric Chase. You and Trub have a long lineage and friendship here, just since you just kind of took the steam of us here.
Yeah.
When did you guys get affiliated, and what's it like training with somebody that's so highly established and, respected in the grappling community?
Well, I grew up with Trub.
Yeah.
We grew up in the same town in Pennsville, New Jersey, so we came up together, and he was always that punk kid. He was like my bully back in the day, hard love my whole life, and it hasn't changed since we've grown up either, Now he just bullies me on the mat, but yeah, the camaraderie we have here at 302, just in general, between me and Trub, knowing each other for so long, coming up with him, and crew Steve McCabe just talked to these guys, man. Coming up with them and having that, love and care for each other, it's huge, and it reflects in fights and into our grappling, into our striking, and everything. That's why 302 in general does what we do, because of the family aspect we have here.
And listen to what crew McCabe was just saying before he ended class there, talking about the family atmosphere, talking about everything that you guys put into this and all the sweat and tears and bringing all that. resorting back to the family atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Everything that you guys go into, bringing that Stellar Fights welterweight title back here to 302, your home, the home atmosphere, the family, what's that going to be like?
That's everything, man.
Yeah.
That's everything to me. Bringing this title home for my team, for my family here, I go out there. I love to fight, obviously, but this title's for 302. This is for my family. This is for my coaches, for my teammates. This is for everyone who supported me. It isn't just me. I know it's physically just me walking into that cage, but it's really not, because every one of these guys in this gym, from people that fight to people that don't, have shaped me to be the fighter that I am.
Right.
And I wouldn't be half the fight. I'd just be some scrappy kid from Jersey if I didn't have these guys in my life. I wouldn't be the fighter and have the technique and skill that I have.
So obviously entering this welterweight bout, Miles McCullen, tough kid. You're both 2-1. What do you know about him? And I'm curious, before you even answer, do you even bother to look into your opponents that much?
I do. I look a little bit. I really don't. I show a little bit to my coach just because of the striking aspect and what we, kind of the drills we work. It's more about body style than anything.
Yeah.
But we don't really go into too in depth, because I'm going to go in regardless of who you are. If you're a grappler, if you're a Muay Thai guy, if you're a boxer, if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm going to fight my fight. And I'm always going to fight my fight. I'm not going in there. I'm not going to change my game and change this entire game plan over the person I'm fighting. Of course, I go into a fight a little different every time, because I'm always learning and doing more stuff. So I want to use the newer techniques that I'm working, especially as an amateur. And I want to try these new techniques. So
you're a tall. Speaking of tall welterweight, man.
Yeah.
So fighting you is a tough task for anybody. I mean, you're what, 6'2"?
6'4".
6'4". Yeah, I'm 6 foot, and he's well beyond me. So anyway, 6'4", and at welterweight, one, is that a tough cut to make? And two, you have to feel comfortable, obviously, with your last fight, Pete Matosha, unconscious. And then on the ground, when you're training with people like Trub and everybody here at 302, just the confidence. Where are you lacking almost? Because you're a tough character for anybody at 170.
Yeah. I wish I had an answer for you where I'm lacking, but I'm really not. I do everything. I mean, I started with jiu-jitsu before I even started striking. You know, I did my first kickboxing fight after 3 months of striking. You know, so I started with grappling and jiu-jitsu, and then I got my wrestling up. My wrestling is really good here because now we're working with Tim Williams, and I got Quidar Pratt, who's a collegiate wrestler. We have, Earl Small, all these pros, AT McCown, all these guys, man, getting my grappling, my striking, my wrestling. There's nowhere that these guys don't push me. These guys push me in every aspect of my game. So you can't have a weak point in here. Yeah. You can't have a weak point in this gym, especially when I'm going with all these guys. And it's not like I'm with pros that are 135. I mean, we have them, but I'm going with guys that are light heavyweights, that are middleweights, that are really, so I don't outsize these guys in here, you know. So I have to be on my game. I have to have every part of my sword sharp,
And you're coming off, obviously we've mentioned it enough, but you're coming off of the dominant knockout win.
Yes.
Your opponent coming off of a submission loss. Now, question, does that kind of set up a blueprint for you, or how do you take this fight?
I take every fight as that fight. I don't carry anything, like I said before. I forgot about that knockout the week after. It's all fun and games, but we get back to work, and anybody can get knocked out. Just like when the fight before, when Pete came off a nice knockout against Mancini, and then he came out and got knocked out. I can come off of a knockout off of, a tough guy like Pete, and I can still get knocked out. That's possible. Yeah. So I don't look at it riding this high, like I'm superior, and although I kind of am, but I go in every fight as its own fight. I look at it as Miles is, he's got sharp hands, he's got quick hands. He's a good boxer. He's been in there. He's been active. He's taller. He's someone his style I haven't really faced before. So I look at it completely different. I don't carry any of that false confidence in a way from my last fight. Yeah. I bring in, obviously I know what works, and I know that I knocked him out, and I know all the blood, sweat, and tears I put into that. Yeah. But I don't come in off of a win and just automatically expect to just win the next fight. Of course.
I guess what I'm really asking is, with him coming off of the submission loss, you being so well-versed, like you say, in grappling with everybody here, striking with your last performance, and on top of the people that you train with here. So would I be remiss if I asked, is a submission on your agenda?
It could be. It very well could be.
Could be. Trying to pry something out of you.
Yeah, I know. That's your job. That's your job. It's also my job to tell you to shut up, But, no, man, I've always, I come in every fight, and I kind of, like, as an amateur, I look at it differently than a lot of people do.
Right.
I don't look at it as what's the easiest route to victory. I look at what's going to make me the better fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I fought Gunnar, who, has stood up in all his fights, I went out there and I struck with him.
Mm-hmm.
I got dropped in the first round, and then continued striking with him through the second and the third, because what's going to make me a better fighter?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to go out and submit people that I know I can submit right off the bat? Is that going to make me a better fighter? No. Not saying that Miles is that guy, because he's tough and he's got decent wrestling and he's a tough kid. But I like to go out there and strike with the strikers and grapple with the grapplers, and that's what's going to make me better at the end of the day. My end goal is to be the best mixed martial artist I can be, and there's no easy road to reach that goal. Yeah. So who knows? I may I go into the fight. I fight my fight. It doesn't matter who's in front of me. So if he wants to strike, I'll strike with him, and if he wants to grapple, I'll grab his neck. It's it could be.
So I'm not going to get a bold prediction out of you, but can I ask you one thing? Do you agree with Coach Trubb?
I think I could knock him out. I think I could submit him in the first round. I think anything can happen in any of those rounds. But I mean, it could happen.
Is what we're getting at. And
I'm confident in my grappling. I'm confident in my striking. I'm confident in every aspect of my game, especially going into this fight. I think I have a sharper striking game than he does. I'm longer. I'm more well-versed. I think I'm even a better wrestler, and my jiu-jitsu is definitely superior to his. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and team balance under Trubb and all these guys. I'm a bad motherfucker when it comes to this game. So I'm ready for any aspect of this fight. I think I'm going to come out on top.
So pending the win, and let's just say, just spitballing here, you get it in dominant fashion. What does the blueprint look like for your pro career?
So, talking to Crew McCabe, we actually did have a sort of fight lined up with Maverick before this one. It ended up falling through. I was going to fight for their title and then go out and grab this title too. So after those 2 fights, we were planning, well, let's take these 2 titles. That'll make me 4-1 with 2 title fights against a bunch of tough guys with good, records. Take the rest of the year off, and maybe we start 2023 with a pro career. So. After this fight, I think I'm going to at least do 1, maybe 2 more. We'll see. Maybe I'll take the rest of the year off. Maybe I'll, defend this title. Maybe I'll fight somewhere else. We'll see. But the pro career is definitely on the horizon. It's not
coming
far
sooner
off.
than later.
It's not far off. It's not far off. So.
Well, again, I wish you nothing but the best. I know I'm not going to get a bold prediction out of you, so I'm going to leave that one alone. Eric, man, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, brother.